Good morning. So, over the next several weeks, my plan is to essentially give a verbal overview of each of the chapters in the book. So, there's going to be about 32 videos. A lot of this stuff now seems super obvious and apparent, but at one point in my life it didn't. And what I've tried to do with this book is, in my life is develop a perception and a perspective of looking at life in a way that makes things make more sense and that makes life better. A better way of viewing my external and internal world so that life is more beautiful, you know. So the first chapter is titled The Three Foundations. And there are essentially three foundations that I've tried to build this philosophical structure on. And the first is the journey of the individual. I do not believe that we are able to see another person in an appropriate manner until we are able to view ourselves and to truly know what it is to be an individual so that we can look at another person and see that they are also an individual. And really just understanding what an individual is and what we're in control of as an individual, which isn't much. I mean, we can control our actions, our own individual actions, our emotions, things that we say, the way that we view the world, the way that we feel, where we're at. Pretty much the only thing we have any direct control over in the entire world is ourselves as an individual. And we can try and influence and persuade other people to do things that we want them to do. But the only true control that we have over anything is ourselves. And understanding that and becoming, responsible and holding ourselves accountable for the decisions that we make as an individual, I think is, super important. The second is going to be time, past, present, and future. Understanding and developing an intimate relationship with time so that we can understand what it is and what it isn't. And that's going to be covered, more in depth in the chapter about time. But that's an important one. The past is what's already happened. There's no change in that. It's concrete. It's written in stone forever. The present is the present moment now. And I don't believe that we move forward through time. We can't really move forward through it because the present is a moment that never changes. It's not in the future or in the past. The present's always now. So I believe that we exist physically in the present and that time flows through us. Mentally, we can exist anywhere we want. The brain actually doesn't do a good job at all of deciding where it is that we are in our minds. We can exist in the past or in the future, 10 years from now, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Wherever we're at mentally, our brain will have an emotional reaction to that memory. So if you think about something in the past that's really sad, then it will make you feel sad in the present. And the same way in the future. If you think of something in the future and it's this memory and this dream that's going to make you super happy, it can affect your mood in the present. Or if you're super depressed and your life's awful, if you think of something in the future that's going to still be really bad, then it'll affect you now. And you'll think of stuff that happened yesterday or last week or 10 months ago, 10 years ago, and it will affect you now. So understanding time. And the third thing is defining your reality. The way you define your entire world, everything that's in it. The way you define yourself, the way you define others, your family, the way you define your emotions, how you feel about things, why you feel the way that you do about things, about moments, events, politics, pretty much anything in your world, you define it. And at some point you started defining it whenever you were young, and then as you grow up, you keep defining your reality and everything that you see inside of your world. But at any point that you want, you can redefine it an infinite number of times. For the rest of your life, you can keep redefining all of those things until you get it right or feel that you get it right. And if you think that you're right about the way that you view everything or the way you define stuff, it might be worth asking the question what you could potentially be wrong about, because that's going to affect everything in your life. And I think one of the biggest ones here is defining your emotions. And I'm going to talk about this a lot moving forward, but I think that emotions often are correct. We're supposed to feel things, even though a lot of people are like, hey, don't feel that way, or you shouldn't feel this way, or you shouldn't feel that way. Emotions are kind of a hard thing to just turn on and off, as far as just really not being able to help but feel a certain way. I think that the feelings are supposed to be there. If you feel depressed, if you feel anxious, if you feel suicidal even, I think that a lot of times those emotions are supposed to be what they are. But what I do believe is that the way that we interpret those emotions, what we believe those emotions to be, are often flawed. And I think it's worth taking a step back and analyzing the emotions and be like, okay, well, this is the way I feel, but maybe what I think this feeling is could be wrong. Like maybe I'm wrong about that. And that is definitely a possibility. At least for me, it was. I know I still feel emotionally a lot of the same things that I used to, but the way that I interpret those emotions and what those emotions actually mean to me now are completely different. So, yes, there's three foundations. One is the journey of the individual. Two is time, past, present, and future. And the third is defining your reality. Those are the main three concepts that I'm going to build the rest of this stuff on. So, anyway, I hope you'll have a good day, and I will talk to you within the next day or two. Thanks.